My name is William Eshock, and some of the work we're doing out here at Ames Research Center in the C2 4IT organization, one of the projects that we're exploring is interactive remote whiteboarding. And what you see before you is one of the components that's formed a piece of that evaluation, of that exploration of that concept. This unit is significant for the capabilities that it's capable of doing on its own, which I'm about to show you. But the ultimate purpose of this evaluation is to have two or more of these units, or any endpoint really, allowing for remote interactive whiteboarding. Currently we're able to do phone calls, video calls, screen sharing, instant messaging, all of these things. But for an engineering organization, we don't really have a good way to do high fidelity whiteboarding at a distance. The purpose of this evaluation is to see if we can, now with the technology that's commercially available, do that. And so this is a smart interactive whiteboard. I'm going to show you some of its features by itself. We have two of these units. We're trying to put them together and do see if we can have them in real time with low latency and high fidelity, allow for a remote experience. So the other one is at another location on the center. That one is currently being built, and then we're going to tie these together. But for right now, I'll show you what this thing is capable of doing. I believe that this technology is a significant step forward for whiteboarding as word processing was for typewriting. In typewriting, it was very fixed. You couldn't move things around except for whiting things out and striking over them. With word processing, you can move, edit, document, author in real time, and things like that. And this allows you to do something like that. So I'll just go ahead and get started. I'm going to try to stand out of the way so you can see this. Hopefully it'll come through. So I'm going to go ahead and select the whiteboarding function and start a new page. So this is both finger, hand input, and multi-touch pens. I'll ask my partner here in a second to demonstrate the multi-touch component, but it's fairly simple. You can just go ahead and start writing on it. So that done, basically it's just a board with 4 infrared cameras in the corners with reflective tape and an ultra short throw white projector. The short throw projector is important because normally if the projector was where you are right now, if I were to stand here, the light coming from the projector would be obstructed. I wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. But because it's being shot from the top down, I can see the pen tip without any trouble at all. But because this is an interactive whiteboard, what we can do is select the objects that we just created and move them around with our hand. We can group these objects, ungroup them. I'm going to group them for right now. You can scale, rotate, get all the way around, and modify its properties. So right now it's black. I'll go ahead and make it red or yellow and hit OK. Well, just to make sure it comes through on the camera, we'll make it red. And there you have it. We can do other interesting things like cloning. So we can now move to duplicate objects without having to recreate them by hand. Other interesting things we can do is scroll. So I can come down here and have an ongoing conversation. Imagine this is a linear conversation happening over time. And imagine someone else comes into the room and I need to bring them up to speed about something that we had just discussed. I can actually scroll back and talk about something in the past. I don't have to destroy any part of my canvas to keep the story going. I can add pages, so I'll go ahead and do that. Draw a smiley face. I can go back to the previous slide. I can select the smiley face. Let me just group these again. It has something called smart object detection, so it tries to separate out, but you can group them so that you can move and manipulate objects as a whole. It's got a little bit of physics, so you can bounce things around. John, can you help me show the multi-touch aspect real quick? Or the multiplayer aspect. John Antone is my office mate. So if you could just draw something, maybe a smiley face. So as you can see, we can now have multiple people interacting with the whiteboard, just as you would with a normal whiteboard. It is limited to 2 inputs at a time, but there isn't really much room to have 3 or 4 people in front of it anyway. Thanks, John. So these are some of the features of the whiteboarding itself. You can do text, handwriting to, it'll try to do OCR. My handwriting is a little bad, and the engine itself isn't all that great, but it'll try. These are some of the whiteboarding functions. The goal of this evaluation is to see if we can have 2 whiteboards or more, n number of whiteboards, so that people can draw together. That piece of it hasn't come together yet. Some other things you can do, because this is just a normal computer with some ink overlays on it, you can have the whiteboarding session, but you can also go to your normal computer desktop and do anything that you could do on the desktop and annotate it. And I'll do that. I'm going to bring up a... you can see that there's an on-screen keyboard. I'm going to bring up the browser, go to the internet, go to Google search. Actually, we're going to go to nasa.gov. NASA.gov is a little bit of a dark website. In fact, let's just go to Google so that you can see it and make sure it comes through. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that I didn't like the Google website, and we need to make some changes here. I'm going to go ahead and scribble out the Google logo and put nasa.gov up here. Right? Anything that you really can think of. And then I can take this image and send it to somebody. It doesn't have to be a website. It can be a Word document, Excel spreadsheet, PowerPoint, PDF, whatever you can think of. The other interesting things you can do, just real quick, is let's say I need to send this whiteboarding session to somebody. I can go File, Send to Mail Recipient as Attachment. I can choose to send it as a PDF, and it shoots it right on. I'll send Sean, or if he may already have a copy of the output of this board, so you can see the high resolution, high quality they actually get out of it without having to take a picture or email it or anything like that. The last interesting piece I'll show you, this thing does a lot of things, but without wasting too much of your time, is that not only can you move things around and manipulate them, but if you take a fist, it does intelligent object detection. You can go ahead and erase items, just as you would with a real whiteboard, but without getting your hand dirty. Anyway, that's been a brief introduction. We're going to have a lot more work to do with this. We're testing these proprietary solutions. We're also testing endpoint agnostic solutions, so figuring out how to get Android or iPad tablets to interface with this, generic TVs that have pen capability, so on and so forth.